For us, there are two parts to it. One is the creation of the assets, and how do we make sure that we're always getting that balance right between the organization, agency that can work best with us on something creative, but in a cost-effective way. So that's a constant ongoing process for us, is to make sure we're benchmarking and validating our agency performance on the creative side of the equation. The second piece, and this is where when you look at the ROI on a campaign, well, is it the ROI on that great piece, the great asset created, or actually was it the success of the campaign itself, the number of customers or potential customers reached out to? So for me, it's the holistic picture as well. So we aim to do this with the particular campaign. We got those results, and that we're actually rigorously tracking those, the expected impact versus the real impact, and then learning from that. So partly that maybe the agencies, the creative might have been very exciting, but it didn't actually resonate with our customers, and we didn't see the potential impact we expected. So I'm looking for the end-to-end, but then within that to be able to identify on the cost of creation, and then on the cost of execution and how well that worked. So for me, the benchmarking of performance goes all the way through, and then that ideal closed loop to go back and evaluate, did it meet the mark, and what would we do differently? And being candid, I think most marketing organizations would do well on the first piece in terms of the creation and the cost of creation, would do okay on the execution, but I think we all have room to improve on that last piece in terms of did it really meet the mark, and what would we change for the next time so we don't repeat any mistakes we may make. I don't think it's good enough anymore to say we tried something and it worked. I'm not quite sure why it worked or how it worked, but it worked. Hey, that's great. I don't believe in the modern business era that's good enough, and in Cisco, our CFO will say, okay, great, you did an online campaign. Who did you do it with? How did it work? What was the response rate? So he's tuned in to the success criteria of marketing, and very clearly gauging our performance. So going in front of our CFO and saying, we did a campaign, it worked great, and we're not really sure which bit worked. It would be a very short conversation, and you wouldn't be getting the next budget allocation from our CFO. So I think the CFO population has become much more educated on marketing as well, and they're not going to be fobbed off with the excuse, oh, it's complicated, you wouldn't understand it. Certainly in Cisco, our finance team is very, very capable of understanding and helping us, in fact, to understand what worked well. I think there's a good combination between finance and marketing if you can get that right, because they have got the disciplines to project manage, to set a plan, and to help, did we achieve plan or not achieve plan. So I think there's a very finance and marketing working together that works really well. We've done that reasonably well in Cisco over the last 18 months in particular, working very tight partnership. And where it works very well, then there's a trust factor where the CFO goes, well, listen, I'll give the marketing team some more cash, because last time I gave them some cash, they got great results, they could clearly articulate the results, and they achieved them. So hey, I expect that they'll be able to do that with the next piece of cash. So we have an incremental process at end of quarter here at Cisco where the CFO will come to marketing and say, listen, we've underspent in certain areas of the business, I may have some extra cash available. What could you do with it? What results would you get if I gave you X amount of extra cash? So it's really worked very well for us, getting the finance team to help us to identify the particular aspects of a campaign that work well, and then being willing to step up and invest some further marketing dollars over and above the annual budget. So if it worked well, it works extremely nicely to have that finance and marketing combination.